Okay, hello everyone. My first video post in our group, and today's video is going to be, as I said in my post, that it will be about aviation industry disasters and accidents. And if you haven't read my post, I would like to repeat here that from today on I will start making videos on various research topics that I would start in times to come, and those videos will be in series: video 1, 2, 3, post 1, 2, 3, and I would share my own research or the combinations that I see in those various topics, and I would want you to actively participate and tell me where I'm wrong or what additional combinations that you see that should be added to the video, or that way will, it will help us, discover more and read more and know more in the field of astrology. So without wasting much time, I would like to start with the first video of this series, and I went to this website that had a list of top 25 disasters in the history of aviation industry, and I have made a list of combinations in around 10 of those incidents, and but in this first video I'll just share with you one of those, and that is the number one on the list, the most disastrous incident ever in the history of aviation industry, and one of the most disastrous in the history of mankind also. And that is the 9/11 incident that happened in Boston, America. So here's the chart of that event, and so the combinations that I see are these. First of all, I would like to show you the moon chart, as that is having a few interesting things to see. Okay, so as you can see in this, that Jupiter and Rahu are conjunct with Moon in the first house. Okay, let me start up the pen. Okay, here we are. So Jupiter, Rahu and Moon are conjunct in the first house, and Jupiter and Rahu are conjunct in the Radha Nakshatra. So as I told in my previous post on the air element, Jupiter, Rahu, Saturn and Mercury represent airy planets, and 3, 7, 11 are the airy signs. So these represent the air element in our psyche or in the mundane world. So, and Jupiter, as we know, is the karaka for life also, and is a karaka of air travel, and is a guide, a universal connectivity representator. So this thing is in Aradhana Nakshatra, which represents havoc, destruction, and mass destruction that would ultimately start a new beginning. And then Rahu is itself in Aradhana Nakshatra, which is a significant of randomness, disorder, and the excessive uninterpretable information that is beyond the scope of human mind. That is what Rahu actually is. Anyways, I would explain that in detail later on, but the combination here is that the karaka of life and air travel is with both Rahu and is in Aradhana Nakshatra. So these two things are really disturbing the energy of Jupiter. And then let me change the color over here. Okay, so first is this, and then the second thing that I see is that Mars is conjunct Ketu, first of all, and Mars is that drive or that energy that causes enforcement of our will. So what that means is that our will or our desire is the sun. Sun is what our will is, what our character is, what our goal is, what we really wish to accomplish. And Mars is the enforcer of the will, or it is the enforcement of the will. So Mars is that energy that causes us to enforce what we want, that yes, this must happen, and something should be done to manifest it, to make it happen. So Mars is the enforcement of the will, and Ketu, as I said, is a focused, complete sphere, or it is basically focus. And when Mars and Ketu, they conjoin each other, it causes a focused beam of energy, an aggressive focused beam that is just blind, and it just believes in action without thought. It is a sort of warrior that would jump into a war, jump into a battle, and then think. I mean, it will not even think at that moment. It'll just jump into the war without thinking or considering the consequences or the, what can happen if I do this. So Mars Ketu is that focused beam of energy, that aggressive action. So Mars Ketu conjunction gives that kind of a drive, and then that aggressive focused beam of energy, that focused action, that initiation, that aggression and impulse is in the sign of Sagittarius. So I think the red color would be more interesting here. So this Mars and Ketu drive or beaming force of energy is in the sign of Sagittarius, and sign of Sagittarius is a sign of belief systems, of ideologies, of religion, of what you believe in, what is your belief system basically. So even if there was no religion in the world, ninth sign would represent your belief system and your ideology. So what you believe in is ninth sign. So this focused drive or focused beam of energy is in the sign of ideology. So this aggression or action should be based on some ideology or some belief system, and it was obviously an attack based on a belief system of a stupid fundamentalist anyhow. So, and then they are in the Moola Nakshatra, and this Moola Nakshatra again is a nakshatra that causes destruction and havoc for the sake of ideologies. Moola Nakshatra is a nakshatra of the firmest and the most rigid ideologies. Moola means the root. The root never budges from its position. Root is fixed. So people with Moola Nakshatra Jupiter have the most orthodox and hardcore belief systems. You cannot budge them from their belief system. And people with Mars in this nakshatra, they can just kill or die for their beliefs. So they have this belief system and they can do or die for it. So this whole combination where you see Mars Ketu conjunction of focused beam and in sign of Sagittarius in of belief system and Moola Nakshatra, this all causes someone to attack you for their beliefs, or this kind of a combination can manifest such a scenario. And then the third thing I see is that this planet Pluto, that represents depth, distance and death according to me, is first of all it is conjunct with Gulika, which is highly malefic, the most malefic thing in the whole chart, and it is aspecting Saturn with a very close aspect within 2 degrees. So Saturn is again an airy planet, and then Saturn again is in Rohini Nakshatra in the 4th pada, as you can see from this Navamsha, it's in the 4th pada. So I don't know the logic behind it, but Saturn in 4th pada of Rohini is kind of considered really very destructive combination. And but besides that thing, leaving that aside, I would just say that Saturn and Pluto opposition of this kind again causes a lot of death like or these kind of scenarios in the air element. And then let me just take you back to the ascendant chart, as that is having a few more combinations that are more relevant to this occurrence. And just a second, as I have to pause the video for a moment. Okay, sorry for that hitch, and I'm back with this ascendant chart. So let me show you something interesting that I see in this ascendant chart is that Sun, that is the significator of life force, is in the 12th house. So this is another combination that represents a negative combination for this kind of a scenario. So one is this Mars and Ketu conjunction, 2 is this placement in the Moola Nakshatra, 3 is Sagittarius sign that gives it the reason for this kind of an action. And then Jupiter Rahu conjunction is the 4th thing, and then Radha Nakshatra 5, Moon is with these things 6, and then Sun in the 12th house is 7, and then Pluto and Saturn opposition is number 8. So I kind of see 8 combinations. And another interesting thing that I see is that all the fire signs are in the 4, 8 and 12 house. See, Aries, let me change the color so you can see better. Okay, so you see Aries, Leo and Sagittarius. These 3 are the fire signs because fire and destruction and action and aggression. So these are in the 4, 8 and 12. So a combination of 4 and 12 is a combination for death according to me, because all these three represent privacy, isolation, destruction and transformation. So when you have a combination of 4 and 12, then it is sort of a combination for privacy, isolation and letting go of the world and all these kind of things. So, and then their depositors are again, okay, 12th depositor is in the 12th house, and depositor of 4th house is in Aradra, as I said, with Rahu, and depositor of the 8th house is in Moola Nakshatra with Ketu. So you can see the 4, 8, 12 is already in such a placement where it represents destruction, havoc and all these kind of things, and leading to transformation and letting go of the world. So moreover, moon is in Mars nakshatra again, and Mars is again in this kind of scenario. So you can see all the energies ultimately are focusing into just one direction, and that direction is, let me give number 9 to this 4 8 12 combination. Okay, so these 9 combinations and all these energies plus, okay, this one more thing I would like to say, that Pluto is conjuncting or opposing Saturn is again with Gulika, which is the most malefic thing in the whole chart. It's the most malefic planet. It's a non-luminous planet, and what it is, you can either Google it or I'll write an article on it. So that makes a total of 10 combinations. So I see these 10 combinations, and what I see is that all this chart and all these energies are ultimately focusing in one direction, that is uh, destruction and havoc involving fire, because of 4 at 12 in the air signs or in an airy environment, and and that would always be based basically on a belief system or an ideology, causing destruction and havoc of large scale because of a Jupiter Rahu conjunction in Aradra and Mars Ketu conjunction in Moola. And this is a rare combination to have Ketu in Moola and Rahu in Aradra along with Jupiter and Mars, because I would like to research when have these combinations occurred in the history of mankind. It's a rare combination. So along with that, Sun being in the 12th house and all the other things, this thing obviously represents some kind of a destruction in the airy environment. So guys, these were a few combinations that I saw, and there must be many more that you have noticed but I have not. And I hope you found this explanation of the 9/11 incident based on a Vedic birth chart interesting and illuminating and informative. And I would like to listen to your comments and see what more you have to add to this, what I have already told you. So I hope you liked the video, and the next video is going to be I will just tell you so that you can be ready for that, and that is a mid-air collision that occurred over New Delhi airport in 1996. It was between some Kazakhstan and some Saudi Arabian airlines, and you can Google it over and see the exact timing of that incident. It is available over the internet, and you can already check out the chart, because that is the next video in this aviation industry accidents series that I'm gonna make, and you can be ready with all the information before I make the video. So see you next time with that video, and goodbye for now. I hope you enjoy. See you.